Hey guys, welcome back to Phil Plays TCG, and today I know I'm probably a little late to the party here, but I wanted to make a video going over the recent announcement by Bandai that, hey, we realized that certain decks and certain cards are overperforming, and we think we need to change that finally. And so apparently June 20th, they are going to give us an update with a possible ban or limit an errata list that we have been asking for since damn near the start of this meta, with the constant invasion of top coup in all of our formats, the regionals, locals. People are honestly just tired of facing top coup. Top coup is incredibly overtuned, overpowered, and there's simple things that could have been done to make the deck absolutely more balanced, but Bandai, I guess, can't be bothered with that. But that's a whole other topic. We've talked about that a couple times here. But I saw Chris over at UniX TCG bring up his ban limit errata list, and after watching that, it made me think, you know what, I really want to give my opinions too. So first of all, shout out Chris, super cool guy. Hope to run into you at the Peoria Regional this weekend. But hey, let's talk about the video here. Let's talk about what cards I think need to be banned, cards I think need to be limited, and cards I think need to be errataed. So we're gonna hop right into this video. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, all that typical YouTube stuff. We are almost to 1,700 subs, and I cannot be happier. Thank you guys so much for all the recent support on the channel, and let's start talking about the ban list here. So first and foremost, what should be banned? These are cards I think need to be banned at this point. So right off the bat, this is dang near identical to Chris's video, but I want to give my opinions on it, of course. You know, at first I really didn't think too much about Cell Games Arena, but then after I saw it in his video, I had a bunch of flashbacks to a player at my locals who plays Cell, and this card is absolutely gas. And then I remembered all the games I've played on the client that against Cell that completely just destroy me, because this card, being a once per turn additional draw or ramp, is absolutely insane. Sure, it costs 4 to play, but guess what? Once it's on board, it is such a ridiculous card to deal with. Like I said, being able to draw once per turn for free, or to ramp once for free. And the fact is, you get to look at the top of your deck before making that decision. If you had to announce, oh, this card's gonna go to my hand, or this card's gonna go to my energy, before you even looked at the card, you know what, I feel like that's not as bad. But the fact is, you get to look first. You get to look and see, oh, this card's really good, I wanna throw it in my hand. Oh, this card's not that great, I'm gonna throw it into my energy. I think that's just a little bit overtuned. And I think if red were to be hit in some way, Cell is going to be, green in general is going to be very, very good, but Cell is honestly one of the better green leaders in my opinion right now. So if red takes a hit, Cell's green in general, and Cell is just going to be very, very deadly in my opinion. So nerfing Cell Games Arena is going to be a good option. Might as well just get rid of the card. It's only a rare, it's not being reprinted. Just get rid of it. And of course, the two red cards here, Master Roshi from set 1 and Ribrian. So Roshi, I think, should be banned because it's probably one of the best red cards in the game right now when it comes to Self-Awakening. Red has way too many Self-Awakening cards. I understand red is the more aggro deck in the game, but the fact is, people have to tech cards into their decks specifically to deal with Roshi. Red has Zamasu, green has Kami, yellow has 1-drop freeze that can tap down a 1 cost so they can swing into it, but Zamasu and Kami can at least get rid of the 1-drop completely. It's something that red players or top 2 players will specifically mulligan their hand in order to get one, and if you can get 2 on board at the same time, you're taking 2 life a turn for doing nothing. Like, it's so good. Combine this with Glimpse and Ribrian, it's gross. Now, of course, people are going to say they can't ban this card. It has a new reprint, which is actually the picture I have right here. So, to be honest with you, I don't see them banning this, but I do see them limiting this card. So, I would love to have them ban it, but honestly, if they limit it to a single copy, that way they can still, people can still collect this version of the card. It makes sense. I won't blame them if they limited this to one. So here's my thoughts on Roshi. And then, of course, Ribrianne. Ribrianne breaks the mold when it comes to just double strikers. I think they did double strikers right in set 1, where they made the double striker have 0 combo power. So it was a brick in your hand unless you could play it. It cost 5 at 35k power. And it also had some ability on play, which is pretty neat. Or even when attacking. Ribrianne breaks a lot of that mold because, one, it has 10k combo power, which is very good, 20k base, so they did lower its power by almost half. It doesn't have an on play or when swinging an ability, but the fact that it has combo power and it costs 1 less to play, it is so good. Because now you don't have to drop 5, you can drop 4, you'll have 1 energy left open for any other play you want to make. And the fact is, the card can be recycled with Glimpse, as well as it's never dead in hand, like I said, 10k combo power. And the card is, it can be played for 1 off Topku, which being able to play a double striker for 1 is absolutely insane. That should never have happened this early in Fusion World's game development. I just think this card, this is how Topku wins. They get you down to 2. They play Ribrianne for 1, and then Glimpse, and sometimes they even double Glimpse, and that's just how Topku wins their matches. And I just think that's ridiculous. This card needs to be banned, and it's a rare card. It's not being reprinted. I think it's fine to get rid of this card. Next, we have the limit list. Now you see here, I got a couple things on here. I forgot to throw Roshi on here. Like I said, he could be a limit to 1. Part of me also thinks Ribrianne could be a limit to 1. That way, like, if you see it, you see it. If you don't, you're out of luck. I think Ribrianne could be a limit 1 as well. But then, let's talk about the other 4 cards here. Just right off the bat, Chris made a good point with Broly that green players will get to 8 and then just drop bomb after bomb after bomb. This card is damn near impossible to get rid of unless you play blue, which is, of course, you got the absolute lightning. But then, if somehow you can waste all these resources just to get rid of it, your opponent plays another one, you're back at square one with less resources in hand. This card being able to draw 1 on play and then swing twice and KO something is disgusting. So limiting this card down to 1, especially if red does get nerfed enough that green feels comfortable to come back into the meta, we don't want to see multiple copies of this card. Now, of course, people are going to ask, what about the Cell 8-drop? I agree, Cell 8-drop is gross. Being able to KO any 2 bodies, as well as heal 1 life, especially since in Cell builds, it is very quick to go back to 8 energy, where you can, in some instances, play Cells back-to-back, but it is more difficult to play Cells back-to-back than it is to play Broly's back-to-back. At least with Cell, they have to trash 3 energy. So, overall, I think it's fair to make Broly a limit 1 of. Let Cell be the 8-drop boss monster for a while. Like I said, it's easier to... I think he is easier to... Sorry, he's harder to get on the board back-to-back than Broly, so I feel like that's the only reason why it's okay for Cell to be the boss monster, while Broly is just a little bit overtuned. He was a menace in set 1. I think it's fine to keep him limit to 1. Next, you're going to see here 3 cards that probably no one really thought about, which is Blue Power Awakening, Glimpse of a Hidden Arrogance, and Gigantic Meteor. So, Gigantic Meteor, right off the bat, this card is broken, in my opinion. This card was the bane of people's existence in set 1, combining it with Broly, and combining it with a lot of other green big boss monsters. This card single-handedly would win games for green, via defensively or offensively. A 1-cost 25k bump that people would swing on in to try to go for game, and people would be cool. Tap 2 Gigantic Meteors, 50k combo power. That's disgusting. requiring your opponent, if somebody played this offensively against you, you had to keep at least like 2 super combos in hand at all times. God forbid they drop 2 gigantic meteors, you had to have 3 super combos in hand for the late game. This card, and then of course this card being able to be recycled with some of the new Cell Jr. tech, is gross. Like the fact that this card, it has to be at 6 energy to use it, to get it, that extra 10k. Cool. Green does that in its sleep. That's no problem. So that's why I think this card should be limited to 1. That way, 1, it cannot be recycled continuously with Cell Jr., which can be played for free if you have 8-drop Cell, mind you. So with that, I do think Gigantic Meteor should go down to 1 per deck. That way, if you see it, great. If you don't, sorry. A Glimpse of a Hidden Arrogance is in the same vein as Gigantic Meteor. This card wins games for red, whether it offensively or defensively. Being able to have that 25k boost, just like Gigantic Meteor, to help defend or, use to end games. But the issue is that this card also allows you to draw a card from your discard as long as you have a battle card with 3,000 power or more in play, which is very easy to do if you are using this card on one of your battle cards. So easily you'll get to that 30k threshold. You'll grab a 4-cost battle card from your drop, which a lot of people either grab Kefla or Ribrianne, which then they can feel comfortable playing, comboing Keflas and Ribriannes early, because they can use Glimpse to get those cards back and start the chain all over again. Whether it's, play Kefla, play something else, or get your Ribrianne ready, because we're about to Glimpse you next turn. It's really, really good. The fact that Roshi on top of that can make these cost 1 less, so you can double Glimpse for only 2 energy on the turn that, 3 energy on the turn that you play Roshi, because if I'm not mistaken, too far there, during the next time you use an extra. Okay, so for 3 energy, you could double Glimpse. Saw a little foreshadowing there. But yeah, Glimpse I think is a little busted. The fact that it's searchable as well via Basil is gross. Don't like it. This card, I think, just like Gigantic Meteor, is one of those finishing cards that should be limited to 1. That's where we go into the Blue Power Awakening. Blue Power Awakening is a really good card for yellow, specifically into green, but because green is not really prevalent right now, this card doesn't really see use. Now, if red were to get nerfed in a way that green feels comfortable coming back into the meta, this card becomes way better. And I think yellow needs a card like this, but I want to stay on the same level here. If Glimpse and Gigantic Meteor get limited to 1, I feel like it is only fair that yellow's version of the card also gets limited. I don't think they need it, because this card really is only good in 1 deck, and that is Yellow Vegeta, because Vegeta gets to restand 2 energy at the end of the turn, which is perfect for this card. But I just want to be fair here. Now, to be honest, I can't think of the life of me if there's a blue version of this card. Like, we got Galacon and Final Hope Slash, but like, that's kind of it. I really don't, I can't think of the blue card, which is hilarious because I'm the resident blue player here. I know we have like Awakening to Super Saiyan Rose. I know we have like Blades of Judgment, like Divine Hammer. Yeah, okay, Divine Hammer. Sure, that's fine. Let's throw Divine Hammer on the limit list too. It's a bad card in general, though, I think right now, but sure, let's just throw that on there just to keep things fair. But out of all of these, I feel like Blue Power Awakening is only good in 1 deck, while these other 2 are good in any green or red deck. So those are my thoughts on what should be limited. What card should be rotted? Nothing. The fact is, in their own message, they specified banned or limited cards. I don't think they want to errata anything. I think in general, Bandai doesn't like erratas. They will do whatever they possibly can to not errata a card anymore, because that's just a different text on them. Nobody wants to remember all that. So I think they're going to do whatever they can to not errata something. They're just going to ban or limit things. So I don't think we need to worry about having to remember different card texts, in my opinion. In the current meta we have right now, this is kind of how I look at it. Red, blue, yellow, green. Red being the best with Topku and Beerus. Blue being a close... blue being able to hold its own in this format with decks like Trunks, Vegeta, and Zamasu. And you know what? Goku Black. There's people that die on that hill. Like Goku Black is a really good deck. Shout out Tarmo Tim and Cody. I have even dabbled with it. It is a fun deck. But I think blue right now has a good chance of competing in the red meta, specifically with a lot of the cool tech cards that we have, but it is at best a 50-50 matchup, and it comes down to skill at that point. Next we have yellow. I think yellow actually does better into red than we think, but it doesn't do as well into blue, which is of course a lot of blue decks right now. And then finally, green, little cell right here. Green is not great right now because red just utterly rushes it down way too quickly. Yellow actually can hold its own against it by tapping things down and freezing things, while so green can't really go in for their big hit swings. But green utterly destroys blue. But thankfully, because red is the most common color, green is not as common. So blue decks can thrive in this meta. Now, if Topku were to be nerfed and green were to be slightly nerfed as well, I think the meta could possibly look something like this. Red and green vying for dominance. I still think red is going to be a very, very good color, if not the best color. Green, I think, will be able to hold its own very, very well into the other two colors, blue and yellow. Like I said, yellow can do decent into green with it being able to freeze, but green is going to mollywop blue. Now, blue does have cards like Absolute Lightning and other cards that can go well into the green matchup, but blue decks will have to tech their decks specifically to counter the green matchup, because right now we're teching them to counter the red matchup. And we can't do both. It's either going against red or going against green. And I think if the meta were to shift and we see more green, that's going to be really difficult for blue to build a deck, because they're going to have to build it in case they see both. But right now we really only have to worry about seeing one. So that's going to be very interesting. But I think blue goes well into yellow. So that's why I think green and red are going to be up here vying for dominance. Once red slows down a little bit, I think decks like Cell, specifically, and Androids could hold their own. And then if we see more green, we're going to see blue starting to struggle a bit, and yellow's just going to be doing its own thing. But yeah, that's personally how I see the meta right now. How I see the meta now, and what I would see the meta going forward if this ban list were to happen. Of course, at the end of the day, these are all my own opinions. But let me know in the comments down below what you think about the upcoming possible ban and a limit list. Do you think there will actually be some erratas, or maybe maybe we're just done with erratas going forward? But thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Thank you for all the recent support once again. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Let's try to get this video up to 50 likes. That would be very, very nice. Maybe even 100. I would very much appreciate that. But until the next video, guys, take care.